feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my Peter subscribers, welcome back. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about polio and its comeback and whether or not I was right. In the past, I was still trying to find a video, but if you guys remember what video it's in, please let me know in the comment section below or email me personally. I would really love to know what video it is where I talked about polio comeback. I've been trying to go through 8 hours of data. I came across nothing so far. Doesn't mean it's not in one of those videos. I do know I mentioned it. It might have just been through text. It might have just been community page, wherever it is. It might not be an actual video, but regardless of what it is, I did talk about polio's comeback. So we'll discuss that in today's video. I apologize for the late release of this video. I was supposed to do this Monday, but then something happened. I got a little tired, so I felt like maybe I should do this when I'm fully charged. And then last night we had the storm, so I had to wait a little bit because the Wi-Fi tends to really screw up the recording process. In case the power goes out, then you guys won't be able to see me, so we're okay now. But anyway, today is August 10th, 2022 at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is when I am recording it, and this is the current news cycle on Google. So you can kind of see here, this is the current news cycle. You can see it's 11:41, and you know, Trump has been raided by the FBI, so we're going to discuss that in another video that's also going to be appearing on the same YouTube channel today. So you have to keep a lookout for that. I also put that at the end of the video if you want to click that, if the video is already released publicly. Without further ado, everything is timestamped in the description below. Feel free to jump around in the video if you just want to know certain information. All right, guys, let's do this. Okay. Now, I don't really know anything about polio, so this is going to be really interesting. I'm going into this blind. The only thing I know is that I could possibly put you in a wheelchair, and that's about it. Okay, so here's some quick disclaimers on your screen right now. Feel free to pause the screen to read them on your own time. This video, again, is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. Please keep in mind, I'm not a medical advisor. Please do not substitute tarot cards as medical advice. Okay, I'm not responsible for anything that you do outside of this video. And here are some other quick disclaimers. Again, feel free to read them on your own time. All right, let's begin. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you have not checked that out already. All right, so the first question that we're going to ask is what is polio and how does it spread? So we're going into this blind. I really don't know anything about polio. I don't really know much about it. The only thing I know it can put you in a wheelchair. That's because of FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He would actually acquire the Great Depression, very similar to what the situation we're in right now. So we're going to ask the card, what is polio and how does it spread? We're going to ask the cards that. All right, let's do this. Okay. Spirit, what is polio and how does it spread? What is polio and how does polio spread? Flip the deck. Okay, how does polio spread, Spirit Angel? Okay, so the first thing I heard in my right ear is a virus that consumed one body. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it sounds to me like it eats away at you over time. Again, I'm not a medical advisor. This is just taking what I'm hearing and getting from the cards. That's all. Okay. Okay, I think 4. Well, actually, I feel like 5 will be good. Okay, 5 will be good. Okay, so the first card that we have here is we have the crown chakra, which is grace. Right. Now, a lot of you guys may have heard the saying, you fall from grace, like people falling from grace. That is kind of what I'm hearing here. That's what I'm seeing. I feel like people are falling from grace. Potentially, they have fallen from good health into bad health very quickly. And actually, the answer number 444 was on the screen. We do have here the sixth eye chakra, the sixth chakra, which is the third eye, which is the imagination. Right? It might be like, almost very similar to a hallucinogenic, or something that allows you to not to see things that aren't really there. It feels like it's in some way, it's almost like it makes you kind of hallucinate in a way. But it also feels as well, maybe the drug might be a natural substitute for curing polio. It might come from magic mushrooms, for example. Again, I'm not a medical advisor. I'm just telling you what I read in cards. We do have here, we have the second chakra, which is sensuality, which is the sacral chakra. And this is your feeling chakra. And so it feels like your sensuality, your tingling sensation in your body, be it the ability to move, it's going to be very restricted by this virus. I don't think that is a surprise. They even mentioned that. Going to the video, it's just being confirmed here that the one that is released now publicly, where everybody is exposed to this, it will do very similar damage to what it did back in the 1900s. Now we have the reverse card here, which is the first chakra, which is expressing my feeling, which is ironic considering that the sacral chakra is all about your feeling. And this is the reverse, it's telling you that you're not expressing how you feel. So I guess in some way or some form, people are in a little bit of denial or slow to respond to the possible symptoms of having polio. And therefore, because of that, it makes it easier for the polio to spread throughout the populace because people are in denial that they have polio, right? And then the last card we have here is we have the third eye chakra, which is inner knowing. It's the lack of proper knowledge because we have always thought that polio, at least that's what the public was teaching us, that polio was a lost virus that no longer will ever make a comeback. However, that defied the odds. It appears that it's coming back. It is coming back. There's been cases found. They're finding cases where people who weren't vaccinated as children, seem to be more at risk than those who weren't. Those who were vaccinated. So, we are going to now take a look at the effects done to the body. How does polio spread in the body? Like what areas does it affect? What does it do? Anything upright, we're going to pay attention to. That means important. Anything reversed means not important, but it has some sort of minor effects. Okay. What else? It feels like it might be affecting people's nervous system, is what it feels like. Okay. All right, so we have here. Actually, maybe take one more. Bottom of the deck. Okay, we have knee. Okay. So, all right, maybe it appears. Okay. So maybe spirits and angels is reversed more important or is upright more important? Okay, so I just talked to them. I screwed it up. I apologize. Reverse means more important. That's why it's down. And anything that's upright or normal is the least important. They said it kind of doesn't matter. But as long as that distinction is being made. So I just want to make sure I put that out there that they will correct me. Okay, so we have here underneath this crown chakra, which is about falling from grace, is your hand, your ability to move your hand. So I feel like in some way or some form, close contact with other people may be limited or warranted. I feel like in some way you might not be able to move your hand as much, and it might be like where it's very restrictive or kind of like hardens up a bit. Now, as for your third eye chakra, with your lips, your ability to be able to properly communicate. So I feel like some people are kind of like, in some way, appear if they're having, I think, a stroke, where they're kind of like their speech slurs, like they're trying to say something, but their speech slurs. There's something like that. They're like kind of like they cannot pronounce it in their head. They're hearing it, but when it comes out, they hear nothing. Now, as for the sacral chakra, which is sensuality, we have your elbows, your mobility in your joints, right? That's your elbow. It's reversed. And so what it's telling me here is that there's going to be some sort of mobility restriction. It makes sense. It falls underneath the sensuality card, like I said, or this is just further insinuating the idea that the polio is going to affect joints. So maybe if you have like arthritis, for example, it's going to make that 10 times worse, or arteriosclerosis, it's going to make that even more worse. Now, as for your throat chakra, we have here the eyelashes, which is ironic. It seems to be in the same area. It appears as well that it feels like it only occurs at nighttime. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's like some form of sleep paralysis. It might just be that when the eyelids are closed, that it might be hinting at the fact that maybe one of the ways that you can contract it is by air follicles or like water droplets or something like that. But I kind of don't see that here. I kind of see like sleeping. I don't know why that is. If someone can explain what that means, it might have an underlying meaning. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not very well versed in all medical categories, so I may not be able to describe something if I'm not familiar with what that could possibly mean. We do have here underneath the third eye, we have the eye, right? And that is reversed as well. So, okay. So to confirm the eyelashes here, which is one of the ways that you can protect yourself. Okay, I love how that confirms it. Okay, so one of the ways that you can protect yourself is you need to put like a shield over. And you have to have your eyes protected. So any vulnerable parts that could be easily exposed to some sort of bacterial infection of any kind, it will find its way into vulnerable spots. So your mouth, your nose, your eyes, your open wounds, your ears, stuff like that. Those are openly to the public. So those would be the easily accessible ways to get inside the house. But at the bottom of that here, we also have the knee. I think that's self-explanatory. It goes the same thing with the elbow. It's just hinting at the fact that the knee will have some sort of similar effect to, everything else. All right. So we have a lot here. We covered this. We are now going to cover the next question. Again, everything is timestamped in the description below. What can we do if we contract polio? I think that's a really interesting question. What do we do? Maybe not yet. What do we do if we contract polio, spirits and angels? Vaccines, really, is what they're telling me. Your only hope is really get vaccinated as soon as you can. Now, I'm not endorsing vaccines or anything, but it is telling me that if you get it, the best way to kind of get rid of it is to get vaccinated. It maybe feels like once you know you have it, go out and get it. It's kind of like it's almost like a preventive medicine in a way, but it feels like in some way if you wait too long, it's going to become ineffective and you won't have a thing to fight it against. Is what it feels like. Because we have the Eight of Cups here, someone walking away in terms of the sun and the moon together simultaneously. And what I am sensing is the reason why they're asking you if you feel like you have it or you match the same symptoms, the reason why Spirit is telling you to go get vaccinated because they're hoping that when they put this vaccine in you, because it's a dead virus, it will help boost morale and white blood cell content that allows you to be able to use those extra white blood cells to help fight against the current one. So that is what I'm seeing because again, it's a dead virus, so it's easy to fight against to stay something that isn't a virus. I mean, something that is a very strong virus that has no sort of weakened immunity. So, what else? Okay, so we have the Lovers card here that falls underneath, the symptoms. We have the Lovers card here. I would definitely advise that you be very careful with the information that you see on the news. Try to be like very educated is what they're telling me. They're telling me one of the ways that you can really help with contraction of polio is you got to be educated. So you got to look at your facts. You got to know your facts. You got to know what polio is, what causes it, and don't be too into the news is what it's saying here. But the news is what's going to really control your health going forward. Now, as for the card in the right here, we have the Ace of Cups. It's going to be a while before we get an effective medication or effective medicine that will allow us, anybody who has contracted polio, to be able to get the help that they need. And so that is what it's telling you, that you're buying time by getting this thing. It's going to allow you to buy some time in order to potentially receive this medication in the future. Right? It feels like in some way this virus is immune to the medication that we currently have against polio. And because of that, it's going to become ineffective. We do have here with this vaccine here, it's being crossed again by the sun and moon, which is, sideways. This is kind of hidden and being revealed to the public. This is something that's being revealed. So as time goes on, the polio vaccine is going to become more frequent and more well known. So I would definitely keep an eye on a news cycle and definitely get a hold of getting the vaccine as soon as you can, especially if you think you are at risk of getting polio. So do your research, get to know polio, and try to stay ahead of the news cycle so that you don't end up falling and succumbing to fake news. Okay, that is what I'm seeing. Okay, the next question is the vaccine effective against polio? I love how all these cards, like intuitively, and all these questions just flow together. I really love that. Okay. No, I can't use that deck yet. All right, so is the vaccine effective against polio? Final card. Final card for the Five of Wands. No. I feel like Spirit and Angel, this the vaccine that they're making or the current vaccine that we have for polio. Okay, so they're talking about the current vaccine for polio. They're saying the Queen of Cups reverse is telling me that we once had a lid on it. You were able to contain the thing, but it's been released and it is no longer containable, which means that it's going to spread very rapidly. We do have here underneath this deck, this card is the Star card of reverse. It's all about balance, proper with nature and humanity. You remember how I told you in the past many times that if we didn't get this hold on COVID, that new virus will keep coming and multiple will keep coming until we get a hold of COVID and we actually learn the lesson on why we actually have pandemic? Well, that is what we're seeing here in this card. Because this card is talking about the balance, the lack of balance and respect for Mother Nature. And so what she's kind of really doing here is that she is releasing these viruses at a rapid pace to kind of wipe off humanity. That humanity is going to be the one thing that destroys her. So think about it this way. You know, when you have acne on your face, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to go to the doctor and get cream, right? And you want to use that cream, spread the cream around your face, and it will remove the acne. The same thing. In this aspect, humanity is the acne on, Earth's face, and Earth is removing humanity by using the resources at her disposal. For example, cream was to be in this way would be interpreted as the virus. And that is what I'm seeing here, that this is Mother Nature's way of saying, well, if you won't help me, I'll get rid of you because I can live without you. I've lived before and I'll do it again. And that's the mentality that I'm getting. We have here in the left card here, people thought that, polio was a lost thing. It was an Asian virus, it wasn't going to affect this generation. That they kind of thought like, okay, once we had a handle on it, it would be done and over with. But that's not really the case here. If you look here at the snake, there is no pole. That doesn't talk about healthcare. So this thing is swarming through the sky, but without any sort of, stick to go through it. And because of that, it's not about the health. It's telling you that it's not time for the end of polio, and polio is just beginning. It's a part of a story that we are not opening another chapter of it. We do have here in this card here, we do have the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is telling me that at first it's going to appear as if it's going to put up a fight. But it is going to be a fighting chance for some people. So it's going to be effective on some, but not on most. And that's what I'm seeing here, that, there are ways that we can use this old polio vaccine and try to perfect it and make it more uniform among all different polio variants. I apologize. There's a little tongue twister there. So that's what I'm seeing. As for clarification for the Five of Wands card here, we do have the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords tells me that this old vaccine that we have for polio won't be enough to fight it 100%. Right? And because of that, there's going to be a calling within the spiritual community, particularly in the Catholic Church. I feel like the Catholic Church is going to do something that's going to kind of bring us back to the life of which we witnessed during the Middle Ages. I do see that here that they might be declaring this as, the plague, the end time, potentially, even though it's really not the end time. But the end time doesn't exist. I don't see it in the cards at all. But besides the point, we do have the Judgment card, and that is telling me here that there's going to be massive spreading of fake news, especially among the religious community. So definitely be careful. Again, like I said, get a hold on information before fake news take hold. And we do have here, we do have the Six of Pentacles reversed, and we do have this person in blue here, which is all about doing the right thing. I do see and that the scientific community is going to be able to get the medical help that they need in order to be able to come up with a solution to be able to fight against the new variant of polio. Yeah. And because of that, we're going to be coming out of victory, but it's only going to leave temporarily. It's going to come back again in the near future, but it's going to leave right after we come up with that really effective, medical, discovery, so to speak. Okay, will polio be declared a new pandemic? I think that's going to be a real interesting question. I did talk about in my other video, I think with monkeypox, I talk about 3 viruses forming, or 3 big things, but it had the heart with 3 swords in it. And I kept saying polio in that video. I don't know why, but I guess I understand now because right after I ended that video, it came up on the news cycle that polio had been found in New York, exactly where I live. So it's pretty coincidental that came out, that a news article came out a day before I did the video. So that's pretty interesting to say the least, and that could potentially be the 3rd sword out of 3 stories that make the pandemic, kind of like the 3 horsemen. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to use my Egyptian tarot deck, and we're going to find out will it become a pandemic. Spirit Angels, Tommy, will polio be declared a new pandemic? Okay, they're telling me not to use this card, so I'm going to put it back. I'm just going to listen to them. Okay, Spirit Angels, tell me. Well, okay, it appears to me that some of these cards are reversed because I last used them when I read on the iceberg, the virus emerging from the iceberg. So let's just clear the cards here, Spirit. Spirit Angels, tell me, is the polio virus, the one that hit the 1900s, will it be declared a new pandemic? As we know, we have new cases of polio in New York and worldwide. So will polio be declared a new pandemic? Will it be declared a new pandemic, Spirit Angel? Okay. Take the card that's meant to be taken out and put it on top. 1, 2, 3. Is that good, Spirit? Okay, they told me to take the first and last. Okay, maybe it was about to come out. That's a sign. Okay, so the first 2 cards we have here is the Moon and the World card, right? This card came out. Then we also have the Moon card. Scorpio. Ooh, okay, I don't know why I said it like that, but anyway, that's the point. What we see here, what I have here is we're asking a question, will polio be declared a new pandemic? And what I'm seeing here is that it's going to be kind of declared around Halloween, around like fall, you know what I mean? If it was to be declared, it will be declared around those time periods. But I feel like it's going to be around a moon. There's a moon cycle here. So we're going to use my moonology. Now, this was not planned. I don't plan to do any of my videos. This is just new information that we're getting, so we're going to use the deck. So, Spirit Angels, tell me about this moon cycle. What effect does this have on declaring polio as a pandemic? A worldwide pandemic. Is that going to happen? Okay, I don't know what full moon Leo is, but I have a feeling, if I am correct, Leo is in August. Could be wrong here. I don't really know astrology. So what I'm seeing here is that if it was to be declared, it'll be declared kind of around fall, October, Halloween. I'm seeing more so September. Not so much October, but mostly September and November is the 2 likelihood months of declaring it. We do have the luck is on your side. New moon is Sagittarius. It's reversed, right? This is a new moon. Here is a brand new cycle, brand new event occurring. It's reversed. And Sagittarius happens to also be in September. We do have the blue moon, which is very similar to the coloration of these two cards here. And so we have here believe in the impossible, blue moon. And so what it's kind of telling you here that it's not possible right now, but it could become possible in the future. But I also see, ironically enough, if you look at the trees here, they're white, right? And a little bit blue. And what it kind of feels like winter time, which explains why there's a darker aura, a darker time period, because we don't have as much sun as we do during the summer. So I am seeing that if anything, it's going to be around December, November, or September, November, December, maybe early January. No, actually, going to be. Excuse me. Hold on. I apologize. Okay, so it's going to be September, November, December, February. Most of those months I see are the most likelihood chances of declaring polio as the next pandemic. We do have here the moon that clarifies this moon card here. We have don't let pride get in your way. And it's talking about here this August month, which is where we're in right now. I think it's a full moon. I'm not exactly sure. I don't follow astrology or anything like that. But what it's telling you here is that don't get too stubborn. Some of you guys tend to, believe it or not, and I will just say this out loud, tend to kind of feel like, you don't believe things until it happens. And that's what Spirit is telling me here. It's telling you just to take precautions and don't be stubborn and say it's not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. They're telling you not get in your head and just take their advice and do what you need and protect yourself. Because if it does happen, you'd rather be protected than unprotected, right? And that's what it's telling you here. Don't let pride get in your way, right? So the card that also follows as well is the World's card, which is all about the pandemic, right? Pandemic is a worldwide event. It's not just only in the United States. And that is what the card is telling you here. It's telling you a worldwide event. So now we're going to ask the cards for a specific clarifier just to really confirm whether or not, polio will be declared a pandemic in the near future. Yes. Will polio be declared a pandemic around the world in the future? Yes. Yes. I see it. Yep. Okay, so polio will be declared a new pandemic in the future. We have the World's card here. Then we also have here as well, we have the Tower card, right? Big thing changing, being striking down, striking the government, striking the healthcare system, striking people in general. This is something that isn't surprising for a lot of people. People believe in conspiracy theories, and so they part of them believe that, this is not unexpected. I always expected this to happen. People have been talking about this for years now. That's the mindset here. We do have the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords reverse is kind of really hinting at the understanding here that this virus is going to be the hardest virus that we're ever going to experience or witness in our entire lifetime. It's telling you here that, it makes COVID look like nothing. It's really what it's talking about. We do have the Empress card here. It's going to be very similar to the time periods in which, rural America, the people who lived in rural America had a little bit easier time being immune, kind of staying away from the virus in general, as a kind of like self-quarantine indirectly. But it is also hinting at the fact that rural areas are going to be one of the hardest because of the lack of an ability to be able to get proper health care and healthcare facilities. So I do see the South, in areas where there is not a lot of access to healthcare, is going to play a major role in really determining the collective as a whole of whether or not they're going to get polio in some way or contract that. That doesn't mean it's going to protect them in any way or hurt them. It's just telling you to hear that you do have an advantage, which is you're quarantining from everybody because you just have that type of lifestyle. But also, as well, you do have a lack of proper healthcare resources, which could be an easily disadvantage. We do have here this is my card. A lot of you guys know this. It's something from the past coming back, right? This is my card for like former president, like Obama. Like if this card came up and I was asking, will Obama win 2012, and this card came out, I would automatically say yes. That's what I'm seeing here. Polio is making a comeback, just like it did back then. And we do have here the Knight of Pentacles. It's not stopping anytime soon. So, yes. The answer to the question is, will polio be declared a new pandemic? Yes. Again, this video is just for entertainment purposes only. Okay. I really don't feel like we need any more. If you want a part 2, we'll do a part 2 in the future. But I don't really feel like we need to do any more information on this. So again, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And please keep in mind as well, I am uploading later today a Trump video and a raid and stuff like that going on there. So definitely keep a lookout for that video. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys soon. I love you and goodbye.